All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're talking about someone truly remarkable, a woman whose story of courage and conviction from way back in the 7th century feels more relevant than ever. Her name is Nusaybah bint Ka'b, and trust me, her story is one you won't forget. Just imagine hearing these words, spoken by the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. It's such a powerful statement, right? It just drops you right into this moment of chaos and incredible bravery. And you have to ask, who is she? What was happening that led him to say that? Well, to get the answer, we have to go to the Battle of Uhud. Now, things were getting intense. A tactical error was made, and suddenly, the whole battle just flipped. The Muslim army was falling back, and the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was left dangerously exposed to the enemy. In that absolute chaos, a small handful of his companions saw the danger. They didn't even think twice. They just rushed forward and literally formed a human shield around him, taking the blows meant for him. And right in the thick of it, among those warriors, Nusaybah bint Ka'b. What's amazing is that Nusaybah wasn't even there as a soldier initially. She was part of the support group, bringing water to the thirsty and tending to the wounded. But the second she saw the Prophet's life was in danger, everything changed. She dropped her water skin, pulled out her sword, and charged into the fight. And she wasn't just standing there. She was fighting fiercely. In that single defense, she took more than 12 wounds from swords and arrows. Just let that sink in for a moment. Over a dozen injuries. And we're not talking about small cuts. One of those wounds, a deep one on her shoulder, was so bad it took an entire year to fully heal. That just shows you her incredible resiliency and how committed she was. She paid a heavy price. This act of heroism is just, wow, it's what she's famous for. But it wasn't some random act of bravery. It was who she was, deep down. So let's back up a bit. Who exactly was Nusaybah bint Ka'b before she earned the title, the Lioness of Uhud? You see, her courage didn't just appear on the battlefield. It was built on a foundation of deep faith and a promise she made years before. She was from the Banu Nagar tribe, and she was one of the very first women in her city, Yathrib, which we now know as Medina, to embrace Islam. So her journey starts early. As a new convert, she joins a group of more than 70 people traveling to Makkah, and their purpose? To give their pledge of allegiance directly to the Prophet, peace be upon him. It was there that she gave her word, her solemn oath to protect him with her life. And at Uhud, she made good on that promise. And get this, in that big group of over 70 people, only 2 of them were women. Nusaybah was one of them. And she didn't just, blend in with the crowd. She insisted on giving her pledge as an individual directly to the Prophet, peace be upon him, just like the men. She was asserting her equality right from the start. This shows that her courage wasn't just about physical bravery. It was intellectual. It was spiritual. She had this boldness to question things, to think for herself, at a time when that was incredibly rare for a woman. And this is where her story gets even more powerful for us today. Nusaybah wasn't only a warrior, she was a champion for women. She used her position to ask the tough questions and push for equality. I mean, can you imagine the confidence it took to do this? She went straight to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and asked why it seemed like the Quran was always addressing men. She was asking, what about us? Where do women stand spiritually? It was a totally revolutionary question. And the response was literally divine. After she asked her question, this verse was revealed. It's from Surah Al-Ahzab. And look at it. It explicitly says,
إن المسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات والقانتين والقانتات والصادقين والصادقات والصابرين والصابرات والخاشعين والخاشعات والمتصدقين والمتصدقات والصائمين والصائمات والحافظين فروجهم والحافظات والذاكرين الله كثيرا والذاكرين الله كثيرا والذاكرات أعد الله لهم مغفرة وأجرا عظيما.
As for Muslim men and Muslim women, for believing men and believing women, over and over. It leaves no doubt. It cemented the equal spiritual standing and reward for both men and women in the eyes of God. Her question prompted a clarification for all of history. Nusaybah's story doesn't stop at Uhud, not by a long shot. She was a warrior for life, a respected elder in her community, whose dedication never, ever faded, no matter what she faced. I mean, look at this. She fought in other major battles too, like the Battle of Al-Yamama. And she fought with the same ferocity, getting multiple injuries. And this is incredible, even losing her hand in the fighting. But she remained defiant, absolutely unstoppable. Her reputation was legendary. There's this great story where the Caliph Omar received a gift of some very fine silk. And he said, "You know what? There is one person who deserves this more than anyone." And he sent it straight to Nusaybah. That tells you everything about the kind of respect she commanded from the highest levels of leadership. So, why are we talking about a 7th century warrior today? Why does her story matter so much to us now? Well, because her fight gives us a blueprint for our own. Think about it. Back then, she was pushing back against the norms, demanding her place, her spiritual and individual equality. And today, her story is being reclaimed by Muslim women as this incredible symbol of agency, of resistance, and female empowerment. She proves that these values aren't new. They've been there from the very beginning. So let's go back to those words from the Prophet, peace be upon him. Wherever I turned, to the right or the left, I saw her fighting for me. Her sword may have rusted a long, long time ago, but her legacy? That still cuts through all of our modern struggles with so much strength and dignity. The story of Nusaybah bin Ka'b is such a powerful example of faith in action and how one person can truly leave a mark on history. If you want more stories like hers, make sure you subscribe to us here at Sahaba Role Models on YouTube